The hottest artist on the planet, Tiamat. Heinous here. Because I'm gonna let you know, if you're in the water, you're gonna die. Illuminati dies here today, Mom.
It's a shark in the zoo. They say in Babylon, put the mark on them too. His whole body light so we can maul other guys. If my all-seeing eye going dark on me too. And them coffers for you. I'm ready so the devil who I call out first. I heard God call it, said behind the great wall. He I made a sword off to kick them all off earth. So my click don't play. Heaven gotta choose the wolf or the lamb. Get shot down by a pig in the street. Why do niggas gotta beef when it's a whole lot of hell? Alright, it's a hole in the dam. They can't flood Merc, so they shoot down gangs. Merc fly high, baby, Merc won't die. I don't see nobody here that can shoot down planes. It's like I shoot down veins. You're turning everybody in the hood to an addict. You look 6th grade to a bully with a habit. Cause I'm a switchblade or a fully automatic. Let's go. It's only 2 ways out. Don't ever try to sit or think of running cause you can't. It's only screaming die while you running out of tank. Don't screaming try bitch while you running out the bank. Cause my click don't pay. I'm probably in your range getting brain with the semi. My hoe act right like she came with an Emmy. She want black pipe cause she came with the Remy. Ain't no pain even in me. You probably wouldn't know where I blow back kush. It's 5 knockouts when it's 5 cops out. Or it's 5 shots out from the big bad wolf. Better bitch gon' say that my click don't play. I threw a clip in the cave, but I'm probably in your range getting brain with the semi. Better bitch gon' say that my click don't play. I threw a clip in the cave, but I'm probably in your range getting brain with the semi. Better bitch gon' say this is the only way I know to handle this. A whole lot of guns and a whole lot of cannabis.
Shots fired at ScrewTube, but shots out to you carbon babies. This is your melanated warrior, Heru Heinous, and this is another installment of Facts Over Feelings. Leave your feelings at the door so we can get to the facts, because the facts are the only things that matter in a race where the first one to the mind is the winner, and we got an explosive one tonight. I took off work today for this one because it's some we got some stuff to go over. Let's see who in the chat right quick. Because we're going to get into it, man. And this is finna be a slow and methodical one because we got to make sure that we definitely get our point across. Okay, we got Angela Fraser in the building, Lions from the Southern Kingdom, Letitia Taylor's up in here, Hamichi's up in here, we know Zay's up in here, Kai's up in here, that's what's up. Victor Carmichael said, what's good, my guy? Nothing shit. Hey, it is what it is right now. I'm about to deliver some high-powered information is what we about to do. 10 out of 10 on the intro says Lion from the Southern Kingdom, that's what's up. Oh, you know what? We try to make it do what we do. Let me get ones in the chat, make sure that audio is correct so that we can move on because we definitely got a lot to get into. And like I said, I believe that this is going to be an extremely powerful segment because we're going to build on the last segment. So let me get ones in the chat, make sure that you guys can hear me so we can get it rocking. Make sure that the audio is right. So we got Chi-Town in the building. What's up? What's up? Okay. We got Chi Midwest. Stand up. That's what's up with it. All right. So we got ones. All right. Now, the thing that I want to talk about, we got a lot of important stuff to talk about. A lot of important stuff. But just to recap kind of quickly, we always go over the foundational concepts so we don't lose anybody. All right. And so we were talking about how X-ray crystallography obviously is the only science that, this matrix uses in order to decode the natural one, reverse engineering it, then handing you the technology as if it is new, right? We talk about the key players in this game behind this diabolical and very sophisticated plan, right? And if you couple that with the unnerving revelation that when we analyze the wrongs that are levied against us, we fail to realize that the whys are always more powerful than the hows. How they do us wrong, how they murder us, through the air, the food, the water, medical apartheid, segregation, etc. How we can go through the hows all day. And I'm pretty sure most of us will agree on the how they get rid of us and how they do us wrong. But a lot of us can't agree on why they do it, because why will initiate a different energy in you. Why will intensify that sense of urgency in you when you know why somebody is doing something. Establishing a motive is critical in a criminal investigation. And this is a criminal investigation. And no better time to attack these things in the Black History Month. Now, what was critical was that we had also established that they have allegiance to another God. But this is something that is nothing new. There's nothing new under the sun, right? They have an allegiance to another God. We exposed to you how when we looked at Exodus chapter 3 and we talked about how this God had a specific mountain. We know he has a specific people. He has a specific land. He, has a specific tree. All of a sudden, but when the world takeover comes about, now this God is all inclusive. Something wrong with that. But this motif is present all throughout history. All right, we seen this with the Greeks, and we talked about Zeus and Mount Olympus. We see this with many pantheons, right? And even notably, as we also note, we know that another name for Zeus is George, right? And then we know that they also put George on Mount Rushmore, okay, too, as well. So we see these recurrences with mountains and how mountains plays a significant role in, in them relaying to you what type of energy that is, that through this energy and the uniqueness of that energy from a particular mountain is what they choose to always associate themselves with. And as well as did our ancestors, as we brought up the Olmecs. Now, the point that I'm gonna try to that I'm about to bring out to you guys and that we need to talk about is that as we talked about some of these people, some people obviously they were cool with some. We know the ones that most people didn't have a problem with me outing, which is Dr. Martin Luther King. But I want you to take a look at something. We're gonna go into an article right quick. I'm gonna share my screen with you guys. We're gonna go into an article right quick. Hold on one second. I'm gonna go into an article right quick. Let me prime it. Go into this article. Yeah, and we about to get into some stuff. Finna be right. Hold on. All right. Hold on. Where did it go? Where'd you go? I know it's here. Hold on, you guys. All right. Yeah, it has to be this one. Okay. All right. Now, I'm going to share my screen with you guys. Now, this is from the Washington Post. All right. Let me get ones in the chat to make sure that you guys can hear me. Let me get ones in the chat. Make sure that you guys can hear me. That way we can move on and get this stuff rocking and rolling because we got a very explosive segment. All right, so we got Shelly Kaysen in the building. She said, peace from Portland. Okay, that's what's up. All right. See, refresh this chat right quick. Make sure that we got a. All right, let me see. Because maybe I'm looking at it after it was a delay. But if I can get a couple more ones to make sure that the audio is right. Okay, we got ones. All right. Now, we already talked about Martin Luther King, right? And some people say, well, okay, what does it matter who he loved or who he was in love with? Maybe it doesn't. But I mean, I'm pretty sure that some people may have the reservation simply because that's not what was that's not the image. Hold on. That's not the image that was conveyed to us, right? We were looking for solidarity. We were looking for, a movement that we felt was started by us and for us, and we felt like he encapsulated that idea. As many other leaders that came before us or were brought before us, we thought that was the thing, right? But let's take a look at some of these characters again because I want to, show you a lot of the characters behind the scenes. Some you are familiar with, but let's go a little bit deeper, tie this all in, and let's just see if it makes sense because a lot of this, like we said, a lot of the work we have to do ourselves. Our analytical skills have to be on high. They cannot, and you cannot allow them to take that from you. Your ability to think. And we're going to get into later on in this segment why that is so important. All right. But as you can see in the Washington Post, we have here, it says, arrested for having sex with men. This gay civil rights leader could finally be pardoned in California by Samantha Schmidt, published January 21st, 2020. All right. Let's get into it. Right, that's Bayard Rustin. All right, you know that he's the one who was behind Martin Luther King's campaign. He organized the March on Washington. He wrote many of Martin Luther King's speeches. He's the one that is solely responsible for transforming Martin Luther King's platform into a nonviolent platform. Okay, I mean, pretty sure some of you guys have seen the documentaries and the movies and stuff like that, but a lot of people don't know this. Let's get into it. A decade before Bayard Rustin became a chief organizer of the 1963 March on Washington, the civil rights activist was booked into a Los Angeles County jail on suspicion. Notice how they do this though. Look at the wordplay, but we already know a lot of this is spells and mayonnaise. Of lewd vagrancy. On that night in January 1953, hours after Rustin had given a speech in Pasadena, California, police officers spotted him. Now notice, hours after he had given a speech. So how, he running around talking about black power and all of this different stuff. So hours after he given a speech, police officers spotted him in a parked car having sex with one of the other two men in the car. But other reports say he was having sex with two of the white men, and these are white men that he's having sex with. Okay, Rustin was sentenced to 60 days in jail and forced to register as a sex offender for the morals charge, which was often used to target gay people in those years. Targeting somebody, you're out in public having sex in a car with two people, and that's targeting. Let's continue. Rustin would ultimately become one of the key leaders of the civil rights movement. He advised the Reverend Martin Luther King Jr. on nonviolent tactics, helped organize the Montgomery, Alabama boycott, and helped create the Southern Christian Leadership Conference. This man, y'all talking about gay people, talking about what's his name? What's the preacher name? Be friends with Tyler Perry. I don't even keep up with these cats, but you gotta understand they started Southern Christian groups, Christian leadership groups. We can't be late on this. We cannot be late on this stuff, okay? But let's continue. But the arrest remained a stain on his record, nearly exiling him from the movement he helped build. Okay, now on the anniversary of his arrest, lawmakers in California are asking Governor Gavin Newsom to posthumously pardon Rustin and right this wrong. Quote unquote. There's a cloud hanging over him because of this unfair, discriminatory conviction, a conviction that never should have happened, a conviction that happened only because he was a gay man, quote unquote, said Senator Scott Weiner, chair of California's legislative LGBTQ caucus. Okay, there you have it. All right. So what's so important about that? What's so important about that is we take a look at these players is what we're saying is these things come into question and they should come into view and it should come under public scrutiny, right? In the court of public opinion. And we can say, okay, well, it doesn't matter what his sexuality is. And it doesn't. But what we're taking a look at and what we want to highlight is what we're worried about in life is agendas. That's what people care about. Is there an agenda? Because if you're doing this and you have an agenda, then obviously anybody would have a problem with that because that means that somebody's going to have to go without, right? That's the bedrock of politics. That's why politics rests on the ability to negotiate. But we told you, like we said before, on the esoteric level, you will never be able to negotiate with spirits who have an end game, who see you as a resource and who come from a different crystal makeup and serve a different God. You have no negotiating power with these individuals. And you will see how profound that is as we continue on in this segment. But let's stick to this game right here that we're giving you. We're talking about as we analyze these characters. Look at Martin Luther King. We know he changed his name. We went through all of that from Michael or whatever to this, to reflect this Protestant preacher, Martin Luther, right? And then we knew he was madly in love with a white woman. And they tried to pass this white woman off and make her part of the civil rights movement because they wanted to, conduct this experiment to see whether or not that, our people especially were ready for it, this integrative approach, right? And so then they coupled them with Bayard Rustin, and we see that these movements are the so-called quote-unquote agendas that most people are worried about were birthed with these two individuals. So you're telling me that you can now look at Bayard Rustin coupled with Martin Luther King and then say that, man, after taking a look at some of this information, I mean, they did do a lot of good, but it's nice to know these things. That's why you have to know the good, the bad, and the ugly when learning our history. And so often we don't take a look at the good, the bad, and the ugly. We get so used to hearing good things about people. When we hear something bad, we say, oh man, why are you digging that up? Why you got to say that? We're going to get off into why that's so important because I'm going to read a comment that somebody sent me because, oh yeah, it's going to get deep, right? Because, you insinuated that I may have, erased a lot of your comments. So we're going to do you even one better. We're going to read your comment for the FOF squad to hear in its entirety. And we're going to evaluate it and deconstruct it and see whether or not it makes sense, see whether or not it has facts, or see whether or not it's just a whole lot of emotion. So that's coming up in a minute. minute, but let's continue. The fact of the matter is that when we're dealing with, looking at this information, one of the things that we got to understand without a shadow of a doubt is that when you are giving leaders, many times this creeps up, and we have to know the whole story. All right, because we have to figure out what went wrong. How many people do we need? How many Martin Luther Kings? How many Malcolm X's? How many Marcus Garveys, Dr. Umars, this, that, and the other? How many programs, institutions, Black Panther parties, and how much do we need in order to get us out of this shit? Because obviously one thing that we see as apparent is that Black people are still in the same fucking situation. So there's obviously been progress, or there has been none at all. And we're finna delve into that. And we have to start asking the right questions. And at no better time is it better to ask the right questions than in the age of Aquarius, inside the age of, inside February, Black History Month. So let's really get into it as we talk about some of these things. Because like I said, when I was talking about, the most popular one of these individuals, which is like we talked about, let's see, let me pull up this comment. Let me get it prime. All right. Because this is very important, you guys. This is very important because we have people who think like this, man. And it's unfortunate because this person claimed that they've been, with the FOS squad for a minute. So it was kind of disheartening to kind of hear this, but this is the way that some of us think. So we're going to go over this comment right quick and because like I said, when you say stuff about Marcus Garvey, so let's take a look at this comment. Let's read it. Hold on, where is it at? I just had it. Where you at now? Okay, here we go, you guys. Now we're going to deconstruct it line for line. We're going to go line for line right quick. All right. Hold on. Let me look at the chat too. Let me bring the chat up here too as well. So we're going to go line for line with this because this is what was sent to me. All right. So then we're going to talk about this line for line. All right. Hold on. All right, this is from Emma B 7952. Don't mean to put you on blast, but from the comment, we got to discuss it. So I think it's pertinent to bring this up. She says, I'm assuming this is she because it's Emma. She says, nobody's perfect, bro, not even you. Okay. I've never claimed to be perfect. That's first. I hope you guys at the FOL squad know that. Hey, Rue loves information that is given to me. Anytime that you guys give insight or anytime that you guys, talk about things that may help me to get, listen, I'm always open to those sort of things. So I never thought that. All right. It said, I hope you don't delete this like the last 2 messages I put on 2 other videos of Garvey. I've never deleted your messages. So we take care of that. The hat you spoke of Toussaint and Dessalines, that's what I'm assuming that it is, of a Haitian revolution, wore the same hat. Are they also sellouts? Let's tackle that for a second. Let's understand this, that, when you talk about Toussaint, remember Toussaint, died before the revolution actually kicked off. All right. Remember, he went back to France and was arrested. This is what I told her in my rebuttal. Right. But I'm explaining this to you guys. But we went over this. Remember, there's a video explaining this. Toussaint went back. Remember, he worked for the French army. Remember, he used to work for the Spanish army or for Spain. And then, when he heard that the French were going to outlaw slavery, that's when he went over to the French and started working for them. Right. Remember, he also owned or ran 6 coffee plantations. Right. Now, is he a bad guy? Of course, he's credited with being one of the revolutionaries that kicked off the revolution for Haiti. But remember, if you know that France is your enemy, why would you go over to France and sit up there and become, get invited to a party knowing that these people are your enemy? You know that if you don't trust them, you're not fucking with them. But he went over there. I'm just saying that this is why it's so important to get all of the facts on our history. So that because a lot of this stuff is just it's not cut and dry. It's not black and white. All right. So remember now who's left now is Dessalines, right? Him and Christophe, Henry Christophe, they end up taking what was called Santo Domingo. Remember, we went over this. Santo Domingo is the Dominican Republic. Santo Domingo. Santo Domingo was taken back over, and that was the Dominican Republic that they took over. Now notice how we don't have a Dominican Republic no more, right? This is key. So Dessalines was then assassinated, and then Christophe makes himself king. He creates a kingdom in the north. And remember, it was a guy by the name of Alexandre, what was his name? Alexandre Pétion. Alexandre Pétion. He made a kingdom in the south. All right. And Henry Christophe sat up there and built this citadel. It was called Henry Citadel. Right. He established an agreement with the United Kingdom. All right. To warn them if French naval ships came into the waters and all of this different stuff. During that time, I believe James Madison was president of the United States. He created a nobility. He had dukes and viceroys. Remember all the shit? He went straight European. Because you got to ask yourself, how is it that when Haiti defeated the biggest army on the face, the biggest European empire at that time, and then became a third world country after the fact? How does that happen? Because we're not asking the right questions on Black History Month. If somebody defeated the United States right now and then as an end result became and was still a third world country, what in the fuck? How much sense does that fucking make? How did it fail? How does Marcus Garvey fail? How is Dr. Umar fail? Whatever. How are all of these people failing? This is why we got to ask the right questions. Because it's obvious that every effort that we make, something is going wrong. And what is it? Because we haven't gotten to the whys. We haven't gotten to the whys, people. You know what I'm saying? So let's continue. Let's continue right quick with this. Because I'm going to show you what people say. All right. It said the statement you read clearly shows Garvey wasn't responsible. And then notice, remember, like I said, the regalia. You look up Henry Christophe. Look up Henry Christophe. Even Wikipedia, they'll show pictures of the paintings and drawings, right? But they'll show you he wanted to emulate the Europeans. Remember, I told you that was the danger. Notice the danger that Henry Christophe got into when he tried to emulate Europeans. And the same thing with Garvey when he emulated, J.P. Morgan and got us involved in Wall Street and wanted to emulate the Europeans. Maybe his heart obviously was in the right place, but we're showing you a pattern that when Haiti kicked France's ass, they should have been a world fucking power. You shouldn't have been you shouldn't have been negotiating with the United Kingdom. At the time that they negotiated with the United Kingdom, remember the United Kingdom was still fighting with France. They didn't defeat Napoleon until 1815 in the Battle of Waterloo. They kicked France's ass before the United Kingdom or Europeans did. That is what you need to know. So why was not Haiti a dominant world fucking power? We're not asking the right questions. Oh, I'm finna light this shit up tonight because y'all think y'all forget who the fuck you playing with. Okay? All right. Let's read on. The statement you read clearly shows Garvey wasn't responsible for the ship's disaster as his attention was on other things as he knew nothing about ships and had no choice but to trust his team. Whose fault is that? Who starts a business? It's like Dr. Umar. If he starts this school, it's just like the legacy of Dr. Umar. If Dr. Umar never puts this school together, will his legacy be hurt? Yeah, of course. But will a lot of people take pride in Dr. Umar's philosophy and his rhetoric? Of course. This is what you have to deal with, but you're dealing with these individuals in real time. You can see this in real time and you get a snapshot. You get an understanding of the state of mind of your people back in the day and what they was dealing with. Can you trust these people that are placed before you? This is why I'm doing this. We have the right to fucking think. Okay? All right. So, says had no choice but to trust his team. Now, once again, had the Black Star Line been successful, wouldn't Garvey got all the praise and the adoration? So when something fails, don't you also receive the backlash? Just the nature of owning the business. I don't have nothing to do about that with that comment. You said, He never went to Africa as he was banned from going there. No African country due to Western constraints will allow him to enter. So he went to London. So that's what I'm saying. Right now, even Farrakhan can't even go to London, and he's not even half the threat that Garvey was. You see what I'm saying? So, I mean, why go to London? And remember, think about the time frames. 1918 is when he starts. This is during world wars, people. When he went to London, like we said, this is on the brink of another world war that was coming about. So you run to London. So like we said, evaluating all of the variables involved when we evaluate these things, right? This is a big part of having high analytical skills. Now, she goes on to say, West Kensington, which is in London, by the way, is affluential. Some ain't. I have friends who live in projects there. South Kensington is the most affluent. Now, once again, remember what I just said, and I said this in the previous segment. I said, remember, some people, and I've said this a couple of times in many segments. I said we suffer from an anachronistic mindset. We always tell me about what Kensington was when Garvey moved there, not what West Kensington looks like now. So, obviously, we know the process of evolution when it comes to cities and towns, human migration, as people move and, and come and all the dynamics of a city changes. You see what I'm saying? So we understand that. But we're talking about what West Kensington was when Garvey moved there. It was he lived in an affluent part of the city, an affluent part of that town. Now, the thing is that let's go back and let me show you another thing that we hold fast to. We brought this up, and I'm going to show you the example that I brought up to continue to keep highlighting that very point. Right? Hold on. Let me share my screen. Remember I told you this 13 facts about the colonies? You seen this photo? Look, this is the 13 colonies. This is the 13 colonies. So you got to put this into perspective. The North and the South. Look at this little bitty shit. The North and the South. What the fuck is they talking about? They ain't even got all of the South. Right now in the United States, how can you say the South without Texas? How can you say the South without Florida? How can you say the South without Alabama? You see what I'm saying? None of that is part of the 13 colonies at this time. Okay? So what you traditionally see as the South, oh, the Alabama, Mississippi, that ain't even exists right now. This why I'm telling you, get your head in the fucking game. Woo! Boy, we about to split heads in this. Let me, okay. Okay, so do we see the problem with having an anachronistic mindset? So let's go on. It says, now, eventually he was exhumed and buried in Heroes Park of Jamaica. And you said that he was broke when he was passed and had a pauper's funeral. We can't help that. You know what I'm saying? I feel like, and it's my opinion, this is not the opinion of others. Like I said, if you got a draw and great positive energy from Garvey's movement, which we all did, there's positive things. Even when I evaluated whether or not Tupac, was someone who was for or against us. You guys have seen that video. I still said that, yeah, I grew up on this guy's music, right? So it had an indelible impact and mark on me and my personality, but yet and still, that shouldn't prevent me from evaluating this scenario as how I should, through an objective lens, in order to get through to the truth. We all have to do it, right? This is no different, okay? But yet, like we said, many of these people die broke. Who ain't die broke? Or how many of our people actually get to see the wealth that they build? They take away generational wealth from our people. They take away generational wealth. Remember that argument even when it concerned Taraji P. Henson, when it's like, she's a millionaire, what's she bitching about? Because white folks feel like as long as you got your money, bitch, don't worry about your children. Let them get it how they live too. Nobody thinks about that. They be like, oh, she rich, so what? Generational wealth, Negro. If you notice, that's what they continuously take away from you. That's why they destroyed your cities and your towns. Tulsa, Roswell, we went over this. They take away generational wealth. My goodness. So as long as if a group of people have wealth, it's harder to take it from a group of people. It's easy to take it from one nigga. That's why they always die. Man, come on, man. Y'all know the story. Let's continue, because we're going to have to get through this, because we got a lot more information to, all right. So she goes on to say, have you ever read his philosophies? You may judge him differently. I already, touched on that. Jamaica would be a different place today had they adopted this, as with every place, right? Try sharing the good and bad, not just pure condemnation. It's not my job to share all of the good. Everybody knows the good about Marcus Garvey. Hence, that's why he's Marcus Garvey. Okay. Matter of fact, so much so that you have one individual who decided to even name a school after him and run a whole global campaign in his name. So I digress. All right. And it says, consider your lyrics in your opening and closing track. Ain't edifying, it spoils the female lyrics. I didn't get that part. So she would have to kind of, give me an explanation on what that really meant. It says also the fact the videos of small girls dancing ends focusing not on their face but chest. You missed me on that one too. See, once again, if you've been a real follow the FOS squad, you would know that Hey Rule don't see sexual energy in terms of that type of way anyways. Like the guy who worked with me on these videos that done the intro and outro for me, he lives in Spain. and he does 4D animation, so it's choppy and it chops like that. How he did it, I thought was fascinating, this African culture. And on that note, remember I told you, I said, see how we see sexuality here in the Western states. Remember, like you could watch a documentary on National Geographic, and they'll show our African women naked. And everybody like, oh, that's education. But here in the United States, you show a woman naked. Oh my God, you think about fucking up. See, they trapped your lens on sexual energy. And we've already did plenty of videos on sexual energy, so I'm not finna harp on that. But it just is a clear-cut example of, remember, how we thinking for ourselves. But once again, we find ourselves doing nothing but echoing the same sentiments or becoming a mirror of the mentality the Blanco has conditioned us to have through the K through 12 mind fuck, and obviously also through mass media. This is a glaring example of it. And then in all this, we really still think we be thinking for ourselves. Okay, so let's continue on, because it don't stop there. It says, I know you don't like being challenged. If I didn't like being challenged, how would I sit up here and give you the information that I'm presenting to you guys? I had to challenge myself. You think that the information I give you guys, I come about from not challenging myself, from not being challenged by other people, or not undergoing or experiencing challenging circumstances? It says, but hey, I got your book, but don't judge that your son is light skinned. So why judge others for preferring pale faces? Woo! I think she said, bow, bitch. I think I'm gonna try to hit you below the belt. First off, yes, my baby mother is a red bone. You know, her dad's black and her mom's white, but I can't control who my baby mother was back in the day. Yeah, I love red bones back in the day. Absolutely love red bones. And I love my dark skinned sisters too. I've always dated all type of sisters. You see what I'm saying? She's a red bone. She's from Detroit. And you know, I got plenty of people in the chat who know me personally from the zoo, okay? Who seen my son. Obviously, he's getting closer and closer to my complexion because they get darker as they get older too. We know that. But that's neither here nor there. Even if my son didn't get darker, still my son. You see what I'm saying? I'm not going to. So I mean, that was that's the shots that people take, I guess. But she said, besides, most of us, especially here, are educated in white system. I'm sure you are too, like most Christologians. And that's what it's ended with. Okay. So, but we're going to show you the difference between those who understand what, how they really communicate to educate you, which we've been saying and reiterating, which is through signs and symbols, and not the bullshit they give you through the K through 12 mind fuck. But it seems as if I haven't been doing a great enough job in relaying this information and making it serious enough to people, because then they send me messages like that, all because they're forced to look at these people who have been heralded as heroes and who have been heralded as revolutionaries in a different light. Shouldn't take away from them. Matter of fact, I'm gonna give you an example. Y'all walk with me right quick. I'm finna give you an example. Let me look at this chat though before we get into some real heat. Let me get into this, because we about to get into some heat, y'all. Y'all about to, man, I don't waste y'all time, man. I do not waste y'all time. I wanted to get through some of this stuff, but hold on. So we're gonna discuss that. Revolutionaries in a different light. Shouldn't take away from them. Matter of fact, I'm gonna give you an example. Y'all walk with me right quick. All right. Give you an example. Let me look at this chat. So we get into some real heat. So all right. So let me. Okay. So let's. Man, I don't waste y'all time, man. I had to put that. Let me stop that. I got that playing and shit. All right. So I'm finna share my screen right quick. Hold on 1 second. Let me cue this up for you guys. All right. Cause I'm telling y'all, it's finna get. Watch what I tell y'all. Watch what I tell y'all. All right, I want to shout this dude out. This guy is Black Culture Unlocked. I want to shout him out. Black Culture Unlocked. He has some pretty good stuff on his channel. Black dude, I've never seen him before. This is actually my first video, so I'm not gonna lie and say, but I've looked at a lot of his, looked at some of his content and breezed through it. But it seems like he has some good stuff. But I've checked this one out and I thought he put it together well. But the title of this video is Bizarre Predictions from Malcolm X That Came True. I feel like he does some pretty good work. We're gonna take a look at something that he said. All right, and we're gonna use this as an example. I want to preface this with 1976 Copyright Act, Section 107, allowances made for fair use for the purposes of commentary, criticism, news reporting, scholarship, education, but overall here at the FOF Squad, waking your ass up. All right, so let me prime this right quick, and probably around the 44-second mark. Okay, so we're gonna start right there.
I just told you a little while ago, these leaders that they call leaders, this included Lena Horne, This included Dick Gregory, and this included comedians, comics, trumpet players, baseball players. Show me in the white community where a comedian is a white leader. Show me in the white community where a singer is a white leader, or a dancer or a trumpet player is a white leader. These aren't leaders. These are puppets and clowns that have been set up over the black community by the white community and have been made celebrities and usually say exactly what they know that the white man wants to hear.
Pause. Let me talk back at you. Pause. Now, from what was stated, from what Malcolm X said, how many people love Dick Gregory? Love Lena Horne? You know what I'm saying? Like right now, you know, Dick Gregory, most people see him as a revolutionary. You know what I'm saying? Learned a lot from Dick Gregory, all right? And Malcolm X said he a clown. Now, should that deter you from thinking some type of way about Dick Gregory if you liked him? Could one person argue that, okay, he's a comedian, but we all have attributes. We all have a funny side. He just chooses to choose to make money off of his funny side. Don't take away from his human side. Shouldn't he have a say in how he's treated? He's also a black man living in the United States of America. Of course you can make that argument, right? You don't have to submit to or you don't have to align yourself with Malcolm X's view of Dick Gregory. And then that would even apply to what's happening now, as he said. Notice how he put that. Look what Cat Williams and Monique and what's going viral. How comedians are becoming the faces of the revolution. But this has always been the case. Because if you notice, they have a symbol for theater. That face that laughs and smiles, frowns and smiles. This is very powerful symbolism in occult work. And we're going to show you why this exists. So on one hand, like we said, there is this argument that states that, okay, well, Dick Gregory and many of them seem very genuine. That they have a right to voice their opinion, and we know that they have a stake in all of this because they are a part of the American experience. So they have a right to voice their opinion. So does LeBron James, like it or not, anyone. But what we're worried about, as we said in the beginning, was an agenda. Is there an agenda? That's what we should be concerned about, right? So the point being is that let's take a look. Let's take a look at something right quick. Finna show y'all another video. Because we about to get into it, man. Okay. Here y'all go right here. Because a lot of y'all know that, remember, what we talked about these people who war, against us, and they got the leaders, they got people, but this is every area of life activity, like Dr. Neely Fuller and Dr. Frances Cress Welsing warned us about: education, economics, entertainment, labor, law, politics, sex, religion, and war. All areas of life activity is what they control, and entertainment is huge. Now we see, that a lot of times we can't even distinguish one from the other because, we see that the entertainers and politicians often swap roles. There's so many to go down the list. We don't have to name them all right here, right? But we're going to take a look at some key ones because now, as we've seen before, we're going to show you how convincing these roles are and have been with a lot of these people and stuff. And now when we look at these people now in the new circles that they find themselves in, some of them are a little bit conscious, some of them not all the way, but for the most part, the community now respects their thoughts, right, and what they say. But little did we know, when we took a look back at our history, we could say, well, you also involved yourself in a lot of the buffoonery, which contributed to that, because you have to know that the highest currency within the international community is the image of a people. The highest currency within the international community is the image of a people. And we have already came to the conclusion that we do not control our image. And we've seen the people who have come after us, right? Or they used to represent us in order to sculpt our image in a particular sort of way for our leaders. And then we've seen the people that they've used to come after us through entertainment in order to condition our minds to act and behave a certain way. And if a lot of you were 80s babies and you grew up, you knew when, and I grew up, I'm an 80s baby, obviously. And so when Jerry Springer, Ricky Lake, all them talk, so we should skip school to watch them shows. And one thing that was in my heart, I was like, man, this shit's not real, bro. We never, the reason why I was so fascinated, because we didn't see this shit in real life. But soon they knew that life would imitate art. So I want to preface this video by 1976 Copyright Act, Section 107, allowances made for fair use for the purposes of commentary, criticism, news reporting, scholarship, education, but overall here at the FOF Squad, waking your ass up. All right, so we finna get right into it. Share my screen.
If you just joined us, we're visiting with Reno again. Reno appears to be a good-looking guy, but he's told us on several occasions that he's really a woman. He's transgender.
Thank you.
Transgender, I'm sorry. Born a woman, but lives the life of a man. He feels that he's a man. And he revealed on our show to his girlfriend Monique that, in fact, yes, he was born a woman. He's not a man. But she stuck with him. They've continued to have a relationship.
It's a game, though.
Can
I say something here?
It's a
game. First of all, look, if you like women, that's another thing. But if you like men, I mean, you ain't got to have. You can have the real deal, not the deal though. You know what I'm saying? You don't know nothing. Okay, Reno.
Okay, obviously, as you can see, this is Corey Holcomb. Corey Holcomb's on the Springer Show, the Jerry Springer Show. We know Jerry Springer is one of them Jewish people, or the Is It Reallys, or Israel, or as my boy, Bobby Hemming would say, the Is It Reallys. Okay, all right. Now, and this Corey Holcomb on Jerry Springer, but that's not all. Let's let it play.
I don't appreciate it, man. You don't have to. You always talking about this your man. Men and women don't share tampons. This is my man. I'm not don't worry about what my personal life is. You just jealous because you can't do nothing. And you ain't got you're a woman, and you just putting on this front because you know that. Look,
Look at that. Look at peddling those stereotypes. I've been to jail. I've been locked up. I've been blah, blah, blah. Look at these white folks. And we finna show you a very powerful image that's going. And look at the audience. Look at these white folks looking at us. This is they don't hang around you. They didn't live around you. And the world doesn't live around you. And look at the face. They love seeing this shit. Dysfunction in your people. They love this shit. Because they wanted to make you responsible for your plight. This you fucking up. Pull yourself up by your bootstraps, nigga. This you being dysfunctional. All right, let's continue.
I don't get let me show you one. Let me show you one. Watch your mouth. Watch your mouth.
See? As you see it, watch your mouth. Also a stereotype. Black women loud and watch your mouth. They unruly, all this. We got to pump all these stereotypes out because remember I told you, remember these Is It Reallys or these Jewish people they had you replaced. Remember I told you become the face of all of this stuff. Remember ghettos was a term associated with they people. Now you're ghetto. All right. Remember, we told you that sexual deviancy was associated with they people. We showed you the convention of 1884 where Franklin Delano Roosevelt was dressed up as a little girl, which was a culture, which was a custom in their culture. All right, to dress their little boys up as girls all of them until they were 6 years old. All right, but you became the face of degeneracy now. You become the face of disease. Remember, they brought you disease, decimated your countries with disease. All right. Remember, I believe it was in 1554, Bartolomé de la Casa. He wrote the destruction of the West Indies. He talked about how they came over there and gave them syphilis, which is called booba disease at that time. You know, all these diseases that they decimated, but you become the face of disease nowadays, right? AIDS and all. You are the face of disease. You're the weak link. This is a war against you collectively, and it is obviously being drawn through their science, and that's where the real problem lies. Us not being able to see that. But let's continue.
Save you, Monique. I'm not mad at you. I can save you. Save you from getting disillusioned. You can't even pick the chair. You can't even pick the chair. Look, bitch. What I was saying, saying no.
Now, wait a second. Those are heavy chairs.
Hey, this is going to be hard, but I can win her over.
This gonna be hard, but I can win her over. You don't when you know Corey Holcomb a woman who with a transgender. What Corey Holcomb you know wanted a woman that was with a transgender? You hear this? So okay, we could just say maybe he was just trying to come up. All right, Corey Holcomb is changed now, all this different stuff. But see, this is my point. Even when I go back to even the Marcus Garvey and all that different stuff, everybody that's in front of us and then present themselves as somebody who we can't contest and can't say nothing about, we need to evaluate these people because the story needs the good, bad, and ugly for us to be able to know who the fuck we should put trust into or who we shouldn't. Everybody evaluate our personal history. Your ass go for a job right now. You got something on your record. They're like, nah, nigga, we can't fuck with you. You know what I'm saying? You know, people look at your personal history all the time, but yet these people come in your face and act like all of a sudden we shouldn't take their personal history into consideration. See, you know, let me talk to y'all for a second. Most people know, especially those who are in the, you know, who are alchemists, understand that you go through, you evolve. So, of course, we go through things, right? We shouldn't be the same person at 15 as we are at 30 and 40, etc. Okay, on down the line. All right. Age is a high price to pay for maturity. You don't want to get old and be stupid. All right. So the point being is that we understand that some people make mistakes, but what we're looking for and our only job here as we enhance our analytical skills through all of these rigorous mental exercises is to see whether or not these people have agendas. That is our job. We know nobody's perfect. We know there's going to be mistakes and all of that different stuff, but we have to look at these things critically. Now, like we said, with Malcolm X in his comments toward Dick Gregory, should you look at him the same after he was called a clown by one of the most prolific revolutionary individuals, you know, in American history, in the world for that matter? I don't know. That's on you. You know, when you take a look at what Haiti went through, can you look at the people who sold out? Obviously, they sold out. Haiti never maximized its potential. We know that they sold out. Was they sellouts? We don't know if Dessalines was able to sell out because he was assassinated before he was even able to come to power. But we know when King Henry came to power, he went right back to messing with these Blancos, which led what? To our destruction. We see time and time again, the pattern is we do just enough to go back and fuck with the very same people who don't desire us to be in a position that can birth upward mobility. That is a problem. Okay? That is a problem. All right. So, let me gather myself for a second. Now, the point being is that when we talked about weaponizing everything, when we talked about the crystals and you know, the crystal framework and why they're doing, you know, basically why they're doing this was because of, you know, they come from a different crystal framework, and that every crystal that they come into, the only thing that they're going to do is obviously enhance their own artificial makeup and use the remaining crystals as weapons. Because this is crystal warfare. This is plasma warfare on a whole nother level. It's just that our people have yet to be able to catch up to this. And I'm going to show you a very quick example because we went over this, but I want it to hit home and sink in because, like I said, if we're fundamentally sound, our approach is pristine. And there's very few things that's going to be able to rattle us and shake us once we have this approach. Now, I'm going to show you a photo of something real quick. All right? Just to show you about these crystal wars and how deep this stuff is. Right? How they weaponize them. We're finna go off into some other deep stuff too as well, but, you know, we finna show you a couple things. All right, share my screen. This, brothers and sisters, I've shown you this before. This is menthol. This is menthol. Menthol is a crystal at room temperature, obviously. So even the cigarettes, you can't see them, obviously, because they're very small. But when they're cigarettes, this is what it looks like. This is what menthol looks like. Remember, we brought up articles where we told you over about 80 to 90% of menthol smokers are from the African American community. These cigarettes like Kool and Newports and stuff, menthol, mentholated cigarettes, these sort of crystals. They know what crystals we're attracted to. A lot of white folks don't smoke, but you know what a lot of white folks do get involved in? Hold on 1 second. This is meth. This is crystal meth. Okay? You damn near can't even tell the difference. You damn near can't even tell the difference. You see what I'm saying? Because I told you that, hold on. that these are crystal wars. My point is to show you that they weaponize it, even, you know, especially in the food, because we can get sidetracked by the crystal meth and the menthol and everything that they put in us to manipulate. But how they really actually get down at the molecular level is through the food that we take in every day. And we have to be, you know, wary of that. So, but like the point being is that what I'm showing you, I showed you that to let you know why they do things. You know, that's what we have to hone in on, is why they're doing what they're doing, because they know that in order for them to survive, as we said, this terraforming of this geo and solar engineering, in order for them to survive, they have to terraform or articulate this environment in a way in which is suitable for them or hospitable for their existence, for them to be able to flourish. That's just the name of the game. They serve a different God. They're using you as a resource. So you have no negotiating power whatsoever. And every crystal that they come into contact with, either is going to benefit them at a physiological level, or it's going to be able to be weaponized against those who are the rightful owners, or I would say the rightful heirs to the energy that Mother Earth has given this so-called realm, or this so-called planet. So that's something that we have to really take into consideration. Now what we're finna look at, we're finna show you in terms of, remember, the sister in the comment talked about being educated. And we talk about this all the time. People say, okay, well, hey, Rue, if you on this sort of science, remember, we're all educated by the Blancos, right? We're all educated by them. Who can get away from it? But remember, we talked about is how you see things, how knowledge is constructed, right, and given to you or packaged is the difference between winning and losing, because it will determine your worldview, how you see your world. And we're going to show you two videos, one which is obviously going to you know, exemplify, or I would say be the quintessence of mayonnaise at its finest, right? A whole bunch of jargon, 12-letter words, all of this different stuff. And then we're going to show you another video and contrast that to somebody who really dug deep and was like, no, I really want to know what's going on. And why did I say that? Because as we said, when you get information in the right way, it can motivate you. It can motivate you to do the things necessary that you need to do. It will motivate you. All right, so let's take a look, because we got some very powerful videos to get into. All right, so let's get into it. Okay, so we're gonna take a look at this video right quick. Hold on one second. Let me prime it. Hold on one second. Give me 1 second, you guys. I know I thought I had it. All right. Just have to. All right. All right. Okay, so we're going to let them talk for a second. We're going to start this off at the beginning. And we're going to show you why this is powerful. Even though this just seems like low-level information or surface-level information, we're going to show you why this is extremely powerful. Okay, hold on. There's some ads that are playing right now. But hold on. Let me get this out the way. All right. So I'm going to share my screen with you guys right quick. All right, let's get into it. Oh. Before we get into this video, I want to preface it by 1976 Copyright Act, Section 107. Allowances made for fair use for the purposes of commentary, criticism, news reporting, scholarship, education. But overall, here at the FOF Squad, waking your ass up. So let's get it.
What's actually happening to our bodies when we stretch and develop adaptations like improved flexibility? Well, part of this answer might actually surprise you, as a big part of this resides in your brain and nervous system. Who would have thought that your brain and nervous system had an influence or any say over your stretching and flexibility? So in today's video, we're going to take a look at the brain, certain nerves, as well as typical muscles that we stretch so that we can figure out what's going on here. We'll also talk about some of the most effective types of stretching for these adaptations, or the best ways to improve flexibility over time. It's going to be a stretchy one, if you will.
Okay, they're going to have
with some obvious cheesy jokes.
Yeah, cheesy. We know you can't get away from cheesy. He said it like he had an option to not be cheesy. Motherfucker, come on, man. Chester Cheeto here. You know you can't.
Let's jump right into this anatomical awesomeness.
Now remember, this is the Institute of Human Anatomy. All right, they got 7 point something million subscribers. All right, this video got like 2 million views or some shit. All right.
So when we think about our own flexibility or how flexible we are, we often judge or gauge that by how far we can move a joint through its range of motion, or that point in the joint range of motion where we're like, that's far enough. So let's kind of set the stage with an example here, specifically a stretching example, with the typical hamstring stretch of bending over and touching your toes. And we'll also use some of these plastic bones to help us with this.
Now, mind you, you're going to be bored by this, Blanco, but we're not going to show this entire video because it's 18 minutes long. If you want to look at it in its entirety, the title of the video is How Stretching Really Works. It's from the Institute of Human Anatomy. But what's mostly important is you're going to hear, this is the video. I'm going to let you judge for yourself, too. You're going to hear him talk about a lot of things. Now, our job, too, is he gives you the surface level information. We're going to give you another video, then we're going to wrap it up with the esoteric shit and show you how powerful this is, because believe me, I'm not going to present nothing to you without something that's going to be mind-blowing. So while he trying to lull you to sleep, watch how I wake that ass right back up with something that's just fire, right? But let him talk. It's going to be slightly boring, but, you know, just let him talk about stretching and what the Blanco tells you stretching is all about, right? And I'm going to show you why this is important.
Example, this is called the os coxa. It forms part of your pelvis, and then you can see the femur plugging in there. Now, when I stretch or bend forward to stretch my hamstrings, I'm going to actually hinge forward at the hip joint. This is technically called flexion of the hip. If I bring this a little bit closer, you can definitely see what that hinging motion looks like.
All right, so he's talking about this. He want to show you he's smart and shit. So we're going to move to the 4 minute and 47 minute mark. 4 minute and 47 minute mark. Might be an ad. Oh, okay. Let's just say right there. All right.
Muscle belly. Embedded within the muscle belly, we would see these specialized sensory receptors.
Now notice what he's showing you. He's showing you this muscle. He's showing you the muscle belly. So remember what the fuck this Blanco talking about. Now this is what millions, this is what, when we told you, this is conventional education, right? This is what they teach you. And this is what they teach our children. This is why this is dangerous. This is why I tell people all of the, man, no, let's let him continue, because I'm going to go off and run off in a tangent, and it's not right for this. Let's go.
It's called muscle spindles. These little muscle spindles are encapsulated structures that contain these specialized muscle fibers called intrafusal fibers. Intrafusal just refers to inside the spindle, so it's a pretty good name. Now, these intrafusal fibers inside the capsule are also going to be wrapped with these sensory nerve endings.
So you got terms like intrafusal fibers, sensory nerve endings, yada, yada, yada. And we're going to tell you one thing he's not saying. So let's go. We're going to go to a 12-minute mark, 12:10. Because, man, he even get me, I'll fall asleep on this Blanco, man, what he talking about. And he talks for a long time before he get into the reason for the purpose of the video. And he even says that in the video. So let's go.
Protect the skeletal muscles from being stretched too far. Now, I often give my students this textbook definition of the stretch reflex, and it's this: when a muscle is stretched too far or too fast, it's going to contract and the antagonistic muscle will relax. And
when a muscle is stretched too far, it will relax. It was something in an you see his explanation. This is what he's talking about with stretching, right? And you got Blancos in the background. Everybody looks smart. Everybody looks smart, and everybody's believing this shit. Let's continue.
The example of the stretch reflex that many of us have probably experienced occurred likely in the doctor's office, when your leg was dangling off the table and the doctor comes up with that little hammer and quickly taps your patellar tendon. Some people call it the patellar ligament. I prefer patellar tendon because it's just a continuation of the quadriceps tendon, but we don't need to go down that road. So the doctor quickly taps that patellar tendon. That will cause a quick stretch of the quad muscles. And the muscle spindles are like, nope, that's too quickly. So the signal goes right into the spinal cord. Now, up to this point, we've talked a lot about the muscle spindles sending information up to the brain. But in the case of the stretch reflex, that signal is going to go right into the spinal cord and right back out through a motor neuron to engage the muscle to contract. Because the opposite of a stretch is a muscle contraction, and that will protect the muscle from being stretched too quickly. At the same time, another motor signal is going to go out of the spinal cord to the opposing or antagonistic muscle, and in this case, this is the hamstring. Because you wouldn't want the hamstring to contract, because that would create this tug-of-war situation and the stretch reflex wouldn't work properly. Now, some sort of a signal will make it to the brain. It's kind of a little bit delayed, or you could think of it as a little bit delayed, because we do become aware that the doctor tapped us on that patellar tendon, But the stretch reflex, the main signal again, goes right into...
So listen, I don't know if you like me, but I'm getting tired of this. I was supposed to play this at the 15-minute mark. I can't do it. I'm looking at 13:42. I just can't do it. Now, what we know is he's jam-packing us with these terms: proprioceptive input or proprioceptive input, modulation of sensory input, afferent signals, efferent signals, etc., muscle tendons and spindles. I mean, he's saying a whole bunch of mayonnaise shit. But let's go to another video, right? Let's do this. Hold up. Let me prime this video right quick. Now this, you guys, is finna be one of the most important videos you're gonna see in your life. It's gonna be one of the most important videos you see in your life. All right, and we're gonna let it play all up until, I believe, 8 minutes. You know what I'm saying? It's 12 minutes, but we're gonna let it play. All right, and we're gonna show you something. So let's get it, because we're gonna cook with this one. All right, let me share my screen.
But every time I googled why it's important to take your body through its full range of motion and stretch every day, I got a different answer. And none were convincing enough to get me to stretch.
See, if you look what like she's saying.
Why it's important to take your body through its full range of motion and stretch every day.
See, that Blanco woman was into it, wasn't she? Look. Scientists are increasingly skeptical of the benefits of flexibility. Almost no measurable benefits. Stretching is overrated. Blah, blah, blah. Range of motion. All of this. This is what these Blancos telling you. This is what these Blancos telling, because I'm finna let you know something. This finna be so profound. You finna start seeing the power why yoga was so powerful. Now I'm finna start throwing all these esoteric exercises and stuff, the mental and physical ones that a lot of our people were familiar with, you know what I'm saying, to this day, because you have to remember this, even as we go into it. Understand this. Rhythm is frequency. Everybody knows that. But know this. In order for rhythm or frequency to travel through the body unabated, or you know what I'm saying, or without any or unimpeded, it has to not be blocked, just like anything. Right? And this is what we're going to show you. So this is why flexibility is important, because you can't get energy through the body effectively if the muscles are not stretched out, right? And I'm telling y'all have never heard this information before in this context for most of us, and we're going to break the doors down on this stuff. And they know why they're keeping this from us, because as a people who have rhythm, we've always said that we have rhythm. So you got to understand that the vast majority of people who can dance and have rhythm are flexible. Now, this rule applies. Not all flexible people can dance, but all great dancers are flexible. Not all flexible people can dance, but all great dancers are flexible. Flexibility allows energy or rhythm. You seen somebody stiff that can't get the energy or rhythm through the vessel. It's blocked. I am killing, man. Come on, man. Well, let's go.
Convincing enough to get me to stretch. That is, until now. As it turns out, if we don't move, we in some ways lose our ability to.
If you don't move, but we know this, the Blanco said if you don't move it, you lose it. Now look at this crystal lining around the muscles. Oh, the Blanco before in the last video wasn't talking about this, but let's go into it.
Why? One word, fascia.
Fascia. You see the crystal? Did you see what it looked like? Hold on, let's go. Hold on, let's go.
When we think of stretching, we often first consider our muscles. But as we'll see in this video, many of the benefits of stretching are actually seen in our fascia. Fascia is the connective tissue threaded through every inch of our bodies. When your fascia is healthy, it's flexible, rubbery, and elastic, allowing for fluid, graceful movement and full range of motion. But when it's unhealthy, it can get sticky, thick, and literally becomes matted together.
It becomes sticky and matted together. When you're stretching, brothers and sisters, and you feel that resistance, you're feeling a connective tissue that's a crystal framework that has matted together. Woo! Oh, we about to get into it. You about to learn today.
Meanwhile, your body feels tight, sore, and your ability to move is restricted, maybe even permanently.
Truly, every single time I googled why it's important to stretch, I got a different and unsatisfactory answer.
But then I watched 3 documentaries on fascia, one of which was $32 American, and now I am convinced. So I'm excited to show you guys today what I found because I think you will be convinced too. But before we get into it, a big thank you to Olipop for sponsoring today's video. When Olipop reached out and I checked out their super cute website, I was so excited to give their healthier soda a try.
Come on, let's go through this.
Tonic a try.
All right, let's go. Damn, hold on.
This is how AG1 works to deliver foundation.
All right. Look at that. Look at that. Ain't that some of the most beautiful shit you ever seen in your life? Look at that crystal framework right there. All right. Let's go.
Surrounds and penetrates every muscle, coats every bone.
Penetrates every muscle, coats every bone. Look at this crystal matrix called the fascia. See, your healthcare providers ain't telling you about that, are they? Your doctors ain't telling you about that. You see what I'm saying? And you may learn this in anatomy, but they skim over it. Okay? And we're going to show you how they skim over it, but I'm going to let you watch this video. One of the most important videos you ever seen in your life, brothers and sisters. Let's go.
Inside of organs and envelops every nerve. You can actually draw a line from any point in your body to any other point just by following the endless paths of your connective tissue.
Every single organ of your body has what we call a matrix of connective tissue. It's the scaffold. It's what makes the shape of whatever body part you're looking at. And
it's what makes the shape of whatever body part you're looking at. Okay, let's go.
Common denominator through the entire body.
Until recently, fascia was thought to be a
Look at that. Look goldish, don't it? Look a little bit like plasma. They was taking this out in surgery, you guys. When you go, have surgery, Blancos would just take this out of you and claim that it had no use. And claim that it, oh my goodness, let's go. Let's get it.
And lifeless. Surgeons and scientists would cut through it and discard it on their way to what they consider to be more important body parts.
Now look. It literally glides on itself like tectonic plates. Woo! I can't wait to kill you. Hold on. Let me go. Let's go.
One such scientist, Hélène Langevin of the National Institutes of Health, however, made a bizarre discovery while learning acupuncture. She noticed that as the needle was inserted into the skin, something seemed to be grabbing and pulling at it. When Langevin took these results to the lab, an MRI revealed that the collagen fibers of the fascia were actually winding themselves around the needle, like spaghetti on a fork. And when
she put in the acupuncture needles, the matrix or the fascia tangled itself around her needles and was pulling on it. Woo! You don't know what you are. But remember the Blanco told you 98% or this DNA is junk. This is the person you made God. He told you that God created you 98% junk. Let's continue.
What's more, the fibroblasts send out chemical signals to the surrounding tissue, allowing it to expand and then relax.
The fibroblasts that are inside the tissues, up to several centimeters away, not just only at the needle, they expand. They respond, it relaxes the tissue.
So the research is showing that the best thing for fascia is for it to move, to stretch, and not be stagnant. But what happens if you don't really move at all? If you're super sedentary, you haven't tried to touch your toes in a very long time, and you have body parts that haven't been through their full range of motion in a long, long while. To find out what happens when we don't move our bodies, researchers had people without injuries wear an arm cast and took scans of their fascia. Picture A shows healthy fascia prior to the experiment, while picture B shows that same fascia after just 3 weeks.
After just 3 weeks, brothers and sisters, of not using our fascia. After just 3 weeks of not using our fascia. After just 3 weeks of not using our crystal framework, this is what happens. When you feel your back stiff and all, this is what it looks like. When you feel that stiffness, this is what it looks like. It has elastic properties. Now let me talk to you. So basically, this is the gist of it, brothers and sisters. This is what we're talking about. when they're talking about this fascia, which mind you, they don't even really talk about a lot. It's three actual components to it too. You have the superficial fascia, you have the visceral fascia, and then you have the deep fascia. All right, we're gonna concentrate on the superficial and the visceral fascia. Now, the superficial fascia is like what's called subcutaneous or under the skin, because remember, you're dealing with the integument system. If anybody remembers anatomy and physiology, the integument system obviously is the skin, because the skin is layered. It's this layered instrument, vessel, or organ. It's a phenomenal instrument. Okay. Now the thing is that the superfascia is elastic. Okay. It covers, like you said, all the muscles, the tendons, the bones, and all. It's this crystal framework. Okay. And what happens is that it, like I said, it allows it to be elastic to stretch. It's in the penis. Okay, in the scrotum, the clitoris, this is what allows it to stretch, and then goes back normal. It's in your ear, so on, on the nose and the eyelids. That's why you can pull your eyelids and it goes right back to form. That is that superfascia, that superficial fascia. Okay, or this connective tissue, or this matrix, which looks a lot like plasma in physical form, right? All right, and so then you have this visceral fascia, which begins to basically create the cavity. Remember, I told you it forms the cavity of these organs: the heart, the lungs, the brain, the abdomen, etc. For these organs and stuff, well, organs inside of these, like the abdomen and stuff. So they'll name them different things. So they'll name the visceral fascia depending on where it's at. Like for the brain is encased in this connective tissue, and they'll call it the meninges, but that's its visceral fascia. Remember, another name for visceral is skin. It is literally the skin of the organs. You see what I'm saying? So you have the visceral fascia of the brain, and it's called the meninges. You have the visceral fascia of the heart, and it's called the pericardia. You have the visceral fascia of the lungs, and I believe, what is that called? I think I had in my notes. The visceral fascia of the lungs, I believe, is the pleurae, and the visceral fascia for the abdomen is called the peritoneum. So whatever, depending on the anatomical location, they'll have a different name for it. Remember, he changes up the name. We told you about this. Remember, we said the same thing about plasma, cerebrospinal fluid, 99% water, blood, 98% water. You can go on and on. So we said before, if a person owns 98% of the company, isn't it that person's company? Isn't it just water in different forms? Isn't just cerebrospinal fluid water in different forms, blood in different forms? But we know this because water has 4 states of matter. All right. And one of its in its 4th state is called plasma. But we digress. The point being is that the Blanco's not teaching you the right stuff. That video has over 20 million views. How come our people don't know about it? How come when your health provider takes you in, he's like, oh, how's your fascia? You've been stretching it out? Because if you're on the highway, right? You know what I'm saying? And it's blocked. Me and Old was discussing this, and it's blocked. Remember, highway usually 3 lanes. Now it's 1 lane. How long is it going to take you to get to your destination? You see what I'm saying? If you get to your destination at all, maybe you might have to turn around. So think about this. When we take in the right crystals, there is a blockage because this superficial fascia too as well. What fascia does, fascia also fills in holes and gaps in the human body. Yes, it does. So we got to understand that this is critical because it literally is a matrix. It does, and so because it colonizes so much of us and is us, it can work against our detriment if it crystallizes. That's why we always have to be stretching, brothers and sisters, because you can take in the right nutrients. But if you, like transportation, like I talked about the highway, if you can't get the nutrients to its destination, all is for naught. And you wonder why athletes drop dead. It could be other factors too as well, but their fascia is broken down. So if you're not flexible, you don't have proper circulation. And trust me, I'm not talking here because once again, some people think I'm perfect. I'm not talking here like I could go and be a damn gymnast right now because I'm working on my flexibility too. But that's why I'm telling you, this is the name of the game. Now you see why yoga and all that are so important. When you seen the sexual energy, remember I told you there's no occult energy without sexual energy. So when you seen the Karma Sutra and all of these positions where you have to be flexible in order to achieve it. So the fascia or your crystal matrix could bend and absorb light in different ways. I am killing you niggas. All right, let's check the chat right quick before we go into this other article too as well, because we got another article. Christian Powell says this is so new to me on my Jay Cho said you're as young as your spine is flexible. Correct. All right. J. Cho said, my boy got that copyright disclaimer committed to memory. I'm trying to tell you, I got so tired of reading it. I was like, fuck reading this shit, man. I get tired, I got other shit to do. You know what I'm saying? But let's go to an article, right? Let's go to an article. Because I'm finna show you the problem with being educated by these blancos. You know what I'm saying? We're going to an article right quick. All right. Hold on 1 second. Okay, let's get it. The 10 body parts that are useless in humans, or maybe not, by Nicoletta Lanise, published January 27, 2023. There's some debate around which human body parts are useless and which aren't. Okay, and this is a fascinating photo right here, so I want you to commit that to memory. I think they have it also down at the bottom too as well, but let's read. Does the human body contain any truly useless parts? Arguably, yes, but they might not be the ones you assume. Some body parts, like the male nipple, arguably serve no useful function, but others, like the appendix, remain a matter of debate, as recent research suggests they may serve a purpose scientists don't yet fully understand. Scientists have a track record of rating organs' importance before learning their true functions, right? Because that's what the fuck Europeans do, and it's really out of ignorance. They feel like they don't know about it. It doesn't have any use, right, or serve no function. But we know a lot of this is them feigning ignorance because they know exactly what what the body is all about. They know that you understanding what you are is the key to all of this. But let's continue. But the more we learn, the more we realize many of those useless parts are actually essential. No, you don't. You knew they were. That's what I'm saying, man. This mayonnaise is just ridiculous. Okay. For example, in the 1890s, autonomous, somebody who teaches anatomy and physiology, Robert Weidersheim published a list of 86 human vestiges. Vestiges or vestigial means that it has no function. Okay. So, or body parts that had lost, quote, their original physiological significance, end quote, to humans. The list published in his book, quote, The Structure of Man, an Index to His Past History, included essential anatomy, such as key valves and veins that help direct blood flow. So this motherfucker thinking key valves and veins didn't have any significance. The thymus gland, which they were wrong about, which makes disease-fighting white blood cells, which they found about. And the hormone-producing pituitary and pineal glands. Remember, they thought that the pituitary and pineal glands had no function. This is the Blanco you're listening to, the one you running around think is God, okay? Scientists continue to discover new things about the human body to this day. With that in mind, here are 10 of the human body's seemingly useless parts, some of which remain controversial. Okay, male nipples. All right. In the womb, all human embryos initially develop all the same parts. And then about 7 weeks, and the sexes begin to diverge. Michelle Moscova, leader of the Healthcare Innovations Research Team at the University of New South Wales, Sydney, wrote in The Conversation, that's when a gene called SRY on the Y chromosome kicks in and jumpstarts the development of male reproductive organs and the disappearance of female ones. Because, of course, you all know we all start off female. Now, if you got a problem with that, take it up with your guy. Your guy, a man, why you mad? Why would a guy that's a man start you off as female? Stories for other days. We don't know. That's just, we got to go along with this shit. That makes no sense. Although usually not capable of lactation, male nipples often still respond to sexual stimulation. So some may disagree with the idea that they're totally useless. Wisdom teeth. So it goes on the wisdom teeth. You got the vomeronasal organ. We're going to read in that, the vomeronasal organ. It says that in some humans, scientists aren't sure how many remnants of a tube-shaped pheromone-detecting organ can be found poking through the roof of the nasal cavity. Mind you, a lot of these organs we all don't have. Some people have them, others do not. Some people have crystals, others do not. Here we go to this page. The polarimus longus muscle. The polarimus longus muscle extends from the bottom of the upper arm bone or humerus to thick connective tissue or fascia. Here go that fascia. In the palm of the hand. Usually these people are psychics. This is not in everybody. This muscle is not in everybody. Woo! I'm about to, man. Y'all about to get this work, bro. Y'all about to get this work, man. Straight the fuck up. That's why scientists have been debated, and that's why they always want to take people's blood. The pyramidalis muscles, all right? That's shaped like a pyramid. Not everybody has these. Some people have one. Some people have, one or the other. Not all people are born with both. The Darwin's point, which is this bump on the ear. Some scientists it's not harmful to anybody, but they thought maybe it was because the ear, maybe was able to connect to the skull at some point. These blancos don't know what's going on and shit. You know what I'm saying? Then you got the auricular muscles. Okay, the auricular muscle is basically the outside of the ear. You know what I'm saying? Now, this ear, we have muscles in our ear that we can move our ear. You know how dogs and deers move their ears and shit, rabbits and shit, you know that shit. But I guarantee you, if one of you niggas was sitting by a woman and she moved her ears and shit, you would run out the fucking room. If a woman was sitting next to a nigga who could move his ears like a damn deer, you nigga, I tell y'all, man, motherfuckers ain't ready for that real shit. A lot of shit I think human beings, you wouldn't be ready for a nigga to be moving his ears on their own independently and shit. I don't think motherfuckers is ready for that type of shit, right? They would say that's demonic. When we have you noticed that the more brain power we have, the more we're able to use our body, the more demonic shit becomes? Have you noticed that? The more, remember the whole thing with the movie Lucy, the more brain power she used, the less human she became. Isn't that something? The more brain power you use, the less human you become. So I guess that's a lot of times why people, when they hear or they come across intelligent people, they don't associate people with being human. They're like, they put so much responsibility on you because it is this stigma that's associated with more intelligence. You're supposed to be moved away from being human. No other movie, accentuated that concept more than the movie Lucy. But we also know about the tailbone, right? We heard Blancos talk about this. The human tailbone is literally called the tailbone. So when people talk about even white people having tails, it's called anatomy. It's called the tailbone. All right. It's also considered vestigial, which means it's lost its original function because, of course, they say humans had tails. OK, so all these things are debatable. We can go on and on for all these things, but we start to notice that there's some crystals in certain people that are had and others don't. We also know that if let me change. That if we rely on Blanco science, we're going to have an incomplete picture of what's going on in this world. And this is why this is so important. And maybe we may run into individuals who, talk a good game. And we got a lot of love and respect and admiration from them. But that should never deter us and never stop us from staying on this path, from learning the truth. Even if we have to go through individuals who have been heralded as heroes in order to do it. As I said before, look at the movement, slavery, Reconstruction, civil rights movement, the Marcus Garveys, the Malcolm X's, the Martin Luther Kings, the Black Panther movements, all these different things. How much do we need in order to figure out for ourselves that something obviously is wrong? We got all these movements, but yet we find ourselves in the same place because we don't want to come to the revelation that there's been no progress whatsoever. Have you noticed the more that the Blanco has accelerated in this technology, the worse shit has become? Isn't that irony at its highest? The more he has accelerated in this technology, the worse the earth has become. And you not getting it. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people definitely don't get me. You know what I mean? Because they fail to realize, like, even when you take a look at this platform, hey, Rue don't shout out, and some people obviously do it in the chat. I think it's been a few times on my hand, especially when I had my first channel that I've ever said, you guys share this video or like and all that. Hey, Rue, don't do all of that because, like we said, this is meant for those who, if you notice, we hardly have any issues in the chat. You know what I'm saying? Because it's the people who are attracted to the message, and that's fine with me. You see what I'm saying? Because I don't rely on that because, on donations and things like that. People giving to me is great. It's awesome. It really does help. And I appreciate it. I appreciate all who give to the channel. And, if people continue to keep giving, that's great. And I accept it because it helps me to do the work. But I know why I'm doing it. Remember, the why is always more important than the how. You know what I'm saying? How you're doing it, because obviously I'm doing it through YouTube and all that different stuff, but if I don't know why I'm doing it, then it's gonna come off as see-through and obviously disingenuous, and you're gonna find that people gonna be able to read right through you. But one of the reasons why people don't contest Heru, because they know that my heart is really in it. Everybody who knows me personally knows that my heart is really in this stuff. You see what I'm saying? And granted, I'm from the streets, so nobody's perfect. I'm from Michigan, damn it. You know what I'm saying? We know how these streets are in this motherfucker, but I've always been well read, and then slowly but surely the Most High, as everything is, with all energy, especially sexual energy, it is an issue of timing. Okay. And so I've been able to, have the ability to revisit information and come across epiphanies, things that motivated me, things that encourage paradigm shifts. But with all that being said, no other person I think who could articulate me and my position other than the great Bobby Hemmett. So let's let him see, let's see what he says about Hey Rue. I'm finna prime this video right quick. Now, first, before we let Bobby talk about that, let's see what we got. quick. We started this at 9. Got an hour and a half. Okay, so we're gonna get into a little Q&A right quick, just in case we got any other questions. I'm gonna probably read some of these comments. Oh, we got Sister Soul Main and Radio in the building. Peace and love, brother. In the chat. Appreciate it, sister. Peace and love to you. Negus, what's up with you? FOS squad, what's up? Squad it up. Christian Powell said, yep, and the more conditioned our people are becoming. Let's see. King Malik said, been trying to put people on with stretching. I'm trying to tell you, man. Hey, listen. Jay Chosen says grip strength is muy importante. Yes, it is. Very important itself too. That is very important. Raw Talk Culture says FOF squad. What's up with Raw Talk Culture? Yeah, we in the building. Okay. So I'm just looking at some of the comments. Let me see. Yeah. So yeah, this is just looking at the comments. You know, I always try to take questions because I know some people, you know, to me that's definitely, and I know I don't come off as that. You know, I mean, I definitely am brash and arrogant toward, you know, our counterparts because I feel like they need to know that we know exactly what the fuck is going on. I definitely don't put forth any energy, you know, don't intend for my people to think that, you know, I'm that way, I'm inaccessible, or I can't be talked to or anything like that. A lot of people know me that's the furthest thing from the truth. I'm just out here and I'm doing my best. Just like I know that you're putting as much energy, you know, into your own life so that you can live the best life imaginable. And why should we be beholden, or why should we be subjected to warmongers as they run around this earth, doing everything in their power to maintain their control and iron grip on this planet? This is ours. You know, we've been given this by birthright, and it's our responsibility to take care of Mother Earth. It just really is. You know, who don't take care of their mothers, who don't desire to take care of their mothers. All right. And this is a collective thing. This is, you know, a collective effort. We can't do it without each other. This is one of the reasons why, like we said, they put into effect a long time ago to make sure that we will be at each other's throats by now. And this is exactly the case. And no one wants to look at why they're doing this, because we don't really agree as to why they're doing this. And so when I come with this declaration that, okay, they're from a different makeup, they serve a different God, and this, that, and everybody thinks it sounds crazy. Then so you start pulling up the data and the info and the intel, and all of a sudden like, oh yeah, it sounds, yeah, that's what it is. That's exactly what it is. You know what I'm saying? And so Kahi says yoga, Tai Chi type exercise. Oh yeah, it is. It is. King Malik says, hey, we should look into breath work and deep breathing exercises along with stretching. Incredible results. Oh yeah, it is. Yup. Nega says we are the stewards of this realm. Oh yeah. Yeah. Kai said Qigong is good too. Oh yeah. I mean, you know, like we say King like that. Yeah. I mean, we got to get back to all of these things, because we see they're becoming the face of nature. We're becoming the face of degeneracy. You know, you look up yoga exercise, you're going to see a white woman there. As you see in the videos, white women stretching, and they're becoming the face of this shit because they know, like we said, you can't push your rhythm through if you have no flexibility. You know what I'm saying? And men know, shit, the sexiest shit is when a woman displaying her flexibility in that bedroom, bro. That shit drive you crazy. That just, I just don't know what to tell people, man. You got to understand that we can't, once of all, I make jokes about it, we can't reduce it down to the way we see it through the Western lens with sexual energy, right? Remember, it is everything. The way, you know, it's responsible for our secondary sexual characteristics. It's responsible for men, obviously, as we grow muscles and all of this different shit. Any energy we use is sexual energy. Just that's how the cells get down. That's how they reproduce, sexual energy. Scientists call this meiosis and mitosis, right? They use the same energy. The difference being only when you matching your energy and intentions with another organism versus you matching your energy and intentions within self. That's the only difference. This is very powerful stuff. And we told you, and we're going to reiterate this, be fundamentally sound. We showed you the only science that these Blancos use and will forever continue to use is X-ray crystallography, which is merely just a study of how crystals form, right? We showed you this is crystal warfare. Everything that they come out of their lab with, you better believe it's a weapon. We told you from viruses and fungus to bacteria. They all are crystals. They get into your crystal framework. This fascia, and get destructed, because the fascia, remember, once after about 2 or 3 days, what it'll do is it'll connect to that fascia and it'll start sending out signals, throughout the framework, right? And then, mind you, this is when the Blancos start to evaluate. It's like, oh, I think we see cancerous cells. Bitch, how the fuck you know what it is when you can't even look through the fascia correctly? See, we dealing with a system. This system is just, like the inequity, it just bubbles forth, like we said, from the bottom to the top, from left to right. Nothing, you cannot get something good out of a system that was built off of inequity. That's why when people say, oh, things are advanced from bad to worse, nigga, it was built on evil. What the fuck would you expect anyways? All right. So let's say this. Let's see what Bobby has to say about Heru right quick. Let's you know what I'm saying, because we definitely wanted to get it in, and I definitely appreciate you guys, like I said, supporting the FOF squad and checking out the information, and we definitely want to make sure, and we hope that, and that's why we put a lot of time, energy into it, because we definitely want to make sure that the information has utility, that is something that you can use. You taking these crystals, you want to make sure that your body can use these crystals, right? That your communication levels are right. That's why I tell you all the time, all this shit that people promote with all this wishing and won't put your mind right thing. No, it's an actual program to this shit. When you got to know that it was always some sort of fix to it, when everybody's like, oh, it's just a physical vessel, it's just physical. No, it's not. It's a crystal framework waiting to be used. It's a very intelligent machine waiting to be used. That's more intelligent than you. Once you lose your arrogance, this is what they call the dissolution of the ego. When you realize that you're not smarter than your body. Whoo, come on, man. Come on, man. You know what? You know what? When you finally realize that you are not, the brain don't need to read a book to know what the brain needs to do. The heart don't need to read a book on how to beat. You got to go to school to learn about what's on the inside of you. This shit is deep. You telling the heart, you beat by this, and the heart's like, yeah, bitch, okay, here's the blood. Shut the fuck up. I know what I'm doing here. Fuck you gonna tell me? That's like if you seen a little kid come to your job, you've been on the job 10, 15 years, a little child come in and was like, when you put the screw in it, bitch, if you don't take your little ass out here, get in where you supposed to be at, school or something? The audacity. You telling me how I use the energy, bitch, if I was to stop this energy right now and you'll drop dead on your motherfucking face. How about that? It's the arrogance of it all. All right? So let's take a look at what Bobby says. Let's take a look at what Bobby says about Heru. Share my screen. Want to start by 1976 Copyright Act, Section 107. Allowances made for fair use for the purposes of commentary, criticism, news reporting, scholarship, education, but overall here at the FOF squad, waking your ass up.
People docile. All you have to do is just take my word for it. You go and study you can go to Greek and study Hercules. That's the Greek Horus, or Apollo. But you can study Horus, or Heru. You can find out something about Heru. I'm gonna tell you what this is. You won't find no text in Egypt where Heru is talking about love. Heru does one thing and one thing only.
Avenge his father.
He kicks ass.
What? Heru does one thing and one thing only. That's all I do. That's all I came here to do. That's all I came here to do, brothers and sisters. I ain't got no qualms with my brothers and sisters. I didn't come here for that. I didn't come here to argue, bicker, and fight with my brothers and sisters. I didn't come here to have a huge platform. Heru comes here for one purpose and one purpose only, to kick ass. Now, thing is, you may have a lot of people named Heru, but it's all about, do you live up to the energy? Remember, one of the most powerful abilities that the Most High had granted man was the ability to name things. was the ability to name things. That's what he endowed upon Adam. All right. And so you got to understand, to live up to a name is a very huge thing. So if I named the little kid Mike Tyson, but he's a scrawny, scary, frail little thing, then he wouldn't be able to live up to the name. Now somebody's like, oh, Mike Tyson's coming to beat you up. They might be scared until they actually see the little boy. All right. So we got a lot of people who say, hey, Rube, but you ain't got that chaotic energy inside you. You have to be able to match your energy. That's the only way the name works. That's the only way the symbol works, when it matches your energy or your frequency. And with that being said, who is God? God is the judge. And why is she the judge? Because she decides who wins and loses, not my opponent. Who is my opponent? He does not exist. And why does he not exist? Because he is merely a dissenting voice to the truth I speak. FOF squad, speak the truth.
True love slips away, but I know that our love will survive. 'Cause I can't see falling stars in the sky no more. There might come a day when life and my true love slips away, but I know that our love will survive. 'Cause I can't see falling stars in the sky no more. Thinking what this life has to mean to you, and I like to say, why sleep? I was hoping when awake we'll make our dreams come true. Didn't hear me say, love can always count on me. Hey, 'cause I'm always where I'm supposed to be. My life changed when night came and we came together for love. It seems that life's strange, 'cause light came when dark flames had came to come tear up our love. And I don't wanna play no games, no. Just a baby in the day you give me your last name. Oh, our true love slips away, but I know that our love will survive. 'Cause I can't see falling stars in the sky no more. There might come a day when life and our true love slips away, but I know that our love will survive. 'Cause I can't see falling stars in the sky no more.
Talk with no dry eyes, it's sunsets on that sky ride. Her hands up, no high vibe, I'm so high, I skydive. My life now feels screwed up, we don't move or we don't move up. I swear life is a ghost town, 'cause all we do is stay booed up. I can't lose you, I'll fight back, 'cause who can give me these nights back? Just arches up in that nice back. She drunk in love with no nightcap, just comfort me and my block scars. Won't take long to see rock hard, just a wedding ring that's rock hard, and long nights when I'm rock hard. Yeah.
There might come a day when life of our true love slips away, but I know that our love will survive. 'Cause I can't see falling stars in the sky no more. There might come a day when life and our true love slips away, but I know that our love will survive. 'Cause I can't see falling stars in the sky no more.